Now we're live.
Wow.
Welcome everybody to another live coding session with GCScript and friends. So we have here the usual suspects of a nice first batch of innovation on Cardano. So let's see what's new today. Max, do you want to share something?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just finishing up this little drawing that I'm going to upload into the blockchain.
Nice.
Let me see here. Okay, this is finished. So yeah, I'm here to show ADA Moments, what we've been building for the past, I'd say a little bit over 4 years, perhaps. First, it was ADA Timestamp, and the idea was to make a timeline, basically to sell moments in time as NFTs that people could customize, which slowly became bigger and bigger into just this idea for a new social media platform built on Cardano. So let me share my screen here and we can dive right in. Let me know when you see it. Are you seeing my screen?
Let me see if the stream is getting the right view. If not, I will rearrange.
I'm seeing notification here. Meet Jitsi is sharing your screen.
I'm seeing it here.
I need to.
Okay, good.
Yes, you're effectively showing it on live also.
Okay, perfect.
Nice, love it.
Here, look, here we have a perfect example of a moment, of a post. So your desired image, it can also be media, so it can be videos, it can be all kinds of things really. The special thing here, of course, is that you sign in with your wallet and that everything here is as Cardano native as possible. So anybody with a wallet can basically sign in. These are all browser extensions. That's just where we've started. Come on now, there we go. So I'm connected with a wallet here on mainnet, and there's a bunch of posts here that people have. Mostly the team have just been testing. So forgive us. There's not much interesting stuff on here yet, just because it's our team just testing whether everything works. But yeah, you can see here who created it and the creator's timeline. So you have timelines per person. You can comment as your wallet, so hello, that it gets stored and other people can view it. And we've got, this is an example of one archive that you can select. So there's many different topics that you can dive into. These are just some topics that we've pre-entered, right? But the community can come to us and also ask to make their own topics, with the ideas being that they can also help manage those, right? So in the same way that you have admins or community governance, that will also be possible for any topic that anybody wants to start up. But now for the game changer part, so let's create a moment, and we'll show you what then happens. Can you still hear me? I just stopped hearing myself, but that was maybe the feedback from someone.
Yeah, I think Adriano was creating some feedback, but you're
okay.
Very, very clear and crisp at the moment.
Okay, excellent. So I just created a piece of art, although whether or not to call it art is perhaps debatable. So this is Adriano with GC here in 2025 that I made in Paint. This is completely unique. Paint by Max 2025. Here we go. And we're gonna upload that into the blockchain so that if it hadn't been live streamed, I would have been the only person on Earth, of course, that would have seen this first. And
it says Adriano Payne by Max at the moment.
Paint, right? Oh, right. Okay, that's just the
So-
the image file, but nobody will see that on chain.
Okay. I just wanted to know. Maybe it would be a public relations disaster.
What that even means? Like,
Yeah, maybe
pain?
maybe there's a deep meaning.
I am pain.
Max painstakingly painted that.
I am a category of pain for insurance.
Typo.
Yeah,
GC
this
is
already-
Adriano's pain.
Yeah. So here we go. We've made a little moment here. This is a JPEG in this case. So now I submit this, and if I sort by new, I should be seeing it straight away. So there we go. It's now on the total timeline, and of course, I find this fantastic. So I'm going to like it here. So that should help me in my popularity on this entire new decentralized social media, right? And then we go to moments, and we should see everything that I've created so far. So you see, this is my wallet has created all these different moments. Some of them have already been minted, and some haven't. And I can even sort, all the moments that I've created, sort them by popularity. And well, I think Adriano's this piece of art, whether or not it's popular or not, I find it important to mint this on chain so the world knows that I was its creator. So let's mint it. First, I have to check what the status was there, and that's something we can talk about in detail. But I'll just go through the whole process in one full flow, and then we'll talk a little bit about how this actually works step by step in a more technical detail. And I'm glad Rohit is on the call as well, so he can give us the play-by-play there. So now this is GC actually helping us to make a native mint. If I don't forget my passwords.
Double check it just in case, Max.
I think we're good. Oh, no, we're not. Ah, shit. All right. And now I need to recreate it. So that's...
So there's like a 20-minute cooldown before user can retry.
Yeah, and we need that to ensure that I'll try again with a new one. Here we go. Adriano.
Max, don't forget to talk about what are all your ideas about how the platform actually is different, like collections and that will create in the future. I think that will be very interesting as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to go over. I think what's important to know is that what we find important is the fact that AI and data and inputs is really what the world is growing towards. So basically, we're seeing that taking a step back, from ADA moments, if we look at the broader digital world and where things are headed, is that all of these AIs are developing at a very, very quick pace. And we're seeing that especially open source AI models are the ones that are showing that they can lead the charge as well. And that means that differentiation in making digital value, right, using AI might not be purely in your specialized model, but has to come from a different source. So think about, how do you differentiate as an AI? Well, you need the infrastructure, right? You need a lot of processing chips. You need perhaps to compete on price, which means you need cheap energy. But you can also compete on what data you have available to you. So basically, if you want to be the best, news AI, then of course you need to be plugged into all of the data of all of the news that is taking place. Or if you want to be the best or create the best trends, trends monitoring AI, then you need to have a very broad view on what's happening in a certain trend that you find important, whether that's clothes or technology. That's something that Reddit, for example, is very good in, because there's a lot of people talking about many different topics. But what it comes down to is that these inputs, right, this data that's being created is what's going to drive a lot of value. And the whole idea behind ADA Moments is that communities and individuals can harness their data, right, their inputs that they've created and want to share with the world in a way that they can control. And I mean, we have here, a simple setup right now where you can form different communities, but the way that you then interact with your community and the way that you define what content is acceptable, or what are the reward mechanisms, or who gets access to the community, that can all be activated by Cardano's native capabilities. So what do I mean by that? If you form an NFT project around, let's say you make an Adriano token, you can distribute this in any way that you see fit, right? And the way that we can then help you to form a community and govern that community is to make sure that you gate access, or you gate the possibility to manage your community with that token. So there's lots of ways to look at things that are happening on chain and try to integrate that with the community that you're forming. So whether it's DReps that want to form a community together, so only DReps are able to, for example, add data to that particular archive, that's possible. Or that only stake pool operators who have actual pool running are able to create or are able to add to a certain community as well. That's also possible, because all of these attributes are available on chain, right? You can create any type of logic that you want. So I think that's a big part here that really differentiates us from traditional social media, is that there are all these rules and parameters that are out there on the blockchain that anybody can verify, that you can use to create a community in a way that's authentic, right? That everybody can trust, that anybody can verify. And also that it's just a free market, because the blockchain is neutral, right? Anybody can participate, anybody can mint. And this allows for a lot of freedom in organizing groups of creators. So I think that's a very core component to what we're trying to build with ADA Moments. But beyond this is also then, how do you get the actual value, right? When I've created something, let's say that my post here goes wildly viral, which unfortunately I think the chance of that is quite low, Adriano. But let's say that it does. There's ad space that we actually attribute to each moment, right? And each moment is an NFT. But the rights to this ad space, that's also possible to create a market out of that. And we're very early on right now in developing that, of course. But you can start to imagine here that if you create something that is popular, or something that people want to visit or look at, that you've essentially created some value, right? And it's only fair that you, as a creator who has created something that is popular in the broader sense, that you can capture some of that value, because that doesn't happen. And there's a lot of examples where that's the case. So apart from that, I mean, there's different aspects to how we can look at value. There's also, you can trade these moments by themselves, but you can also tell the world that you were the first to create it, right? So we make sure that, especially when you mint it, it's overly clear that you were the first one that has created something. And that's important for things like IP registrations. Like in the Netherlands, you have this service called the iDepot, where you pay like 35 euros. I think Sudo, you helped me find that as well. So you pay like 35 euros for this active registration, like a digital registration that you've created something unique. But a blockchain can do that, right? So that's just one example of something that we can hopefully make a lot cheaper and easier for many users. Let's go back to see if I can mint this moment now.
Yeah, because every moment is has its own time slot. So, yeah, once it's minted, it is obvious when it was minted.
Yeah, so there's a clear indication of when it was created. That's something that we measure, on our backend. But then also when a user actually mints it on chain, that's an irrefutable source of proof, right, that you've created something. And that being said, we also immediately upload any content to IPFS. So that makes it very certain that nothing changes with the content that the user uploaded.
Yeah, and I think that's very cool because basically you're attaching some kind of truth to your policy ID, maybe of your data collective. And then everybody can watch what's happening there and, be certain that something happened at a certain time regarding a certain topic.
Yeah. I mean, we want. Let me just. How can I not get? Okay. I need to. I am using the wrong wallet, perhaps, but this should work. Give me a second. Maybe.
This is the shared one, I think.
This is the shared wallet. Yeah.
Yes.
So it should work fine.
Please don't show your password, even shortly.
Yeah, it's a shared. It's not so important. We won't share the secret passphrase.
Murphy's law is law. Always
Murphy's Law.
happens. Yeah. It's impossible. There is no
maybe-
presentation without a surprise.
I told you, Max, this was going to happen.
Yeah, I know. But it's just something so silly, It's like I've got so many wallets and so many passwords. Let's see here, this one. Not sure if it was connecting to the right one. Let's see here.
So it happens. I have some hardware wallets, and I was thinking that having hardware wallets would also help in this thing of avoiding having multiple wallets and whatever. But then you switch to a new setup, and you need to apply some rules on Linux to make it work with the USB system. Then you need to, find an adapter for your mobile for connecting the cable. It's impossible. Really, as a Web3 space, we need to solve this. We need to solve this. Maybe one way was to, like you like to say, make a command center for importing everything, any type of wallet. But it's not enough.
Tricky.
It's always something else.
Yeah,
Maybe Unimatrix could be the key.
I just tested it in Eternal itself, and there I'm getting the password right, so I'm not sure what's going on. Let's see again.
My guess would be there was a typo when you registered that on GC.
Yeah, it's definitely the right wallet. Okay, third time's the charm. Let's see now. Here we go.
Who can try to mint an NFT with my face 3 times? Like, who would want that?
Well, it's just that I'm
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, it's just that I'm impatient to wait for the cooldown, so that's why
Oh, right.
taking this approach. But I'll remove those. And I mean, that's another feature here. If we go to the viewing page, yeah, I can remove these from view, so they're no longer visible on ADA moments. And then this is the latest one, so I'll mint this one.
And you also said something about that you have every NFT you post, you get some governance tokens or rights.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the okay, wait, let me just concentrate here.
Hey, Martin, just in cases, I'm thinking of this right now. Did you stop a proxy?
I stopped everything.
Oh, okay. That's the solution also. Yes.
So it has to stop. It was stopped. Everything was stopped.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know, guys. This is a new error as well. We never had
Let
this.
me try that. I think the password you set when you input the seeds on GC, there was a typo there, which is different.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you want to share your screen and try it?
Yeah. Give me a second.
What's going on? I did not watch the.
Yeah, I might have made an error when I was writing the password itself. But,
So Max, I got a question for the ADA moments.
yeah.
The IPFS link. Oh, all right. So, anyway, it was basically who maintains the link, and because like if your data is not, if whatever your IPFS data is not active,
Mm-hmm.
my understanding is it gets purged as just part of their process.
Yeah.
So is there something that, and Pseudo kind of answered some of it. But yeah, is there like I don't know, a script that can be written to where like every month or so that it'll go in and do whatever it needs to do on that IPFS link to show activity and show liveliness?
Yeah, so we have a pinning service as well, to make sure that all of the content stays up. And we're also going to run our own node, but yeah, there will be a hedge, so it will be IPFS, there will be a pinning service, and then there will also be a backup that we make and store in a way that people can access it. Yeah, so there's going to be a three-pronged approach, but to start with, IPFS is an established and recognized way to protocol to store anything, basically, right? So that's the way that we're starting. And I mean, of course, we want to create different types of utility around that, making sure that you can encrypt content and gate it in certain ways. But this is just the beginning where we say, to start with, we're going to make it public. And what we do to the best of our ability is to protect users' rights, to make sure that it's clear that they are the owner, and also to opt out publicly of any AI training rights. So we do that together with a company that's working to develop standards also with the European Union, to make sure that there's a way for people to still show their content or media to the world without necessarily losing on the rights that content or media has.
Gotcha.
Hugo? Yeah, sure. Rohit, go ahead.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
So the change that's taken place, that you could probably tell, Adriano, is that we don't have listeners now for all of them live at the same time. So Rohit changed this, that it's just one at a time that's now looking, whether or not the transaction has taken place, and the user can just select each one that they want to check the status for.
Unimatrix detected it. Now this is waiting for the network to approve. Meanwhile, this is minted, and we can go to the Explorer. Here is it. Here it is.
Oh yeah, you shared your screen without the game changer pop-up.
Oh, well, I blame it on
impossible.
Jesse. For some reason, I cannot
People
share
won't
the entire
believe
screen.
us, guys.
Nobody will believe this happened.
No.
Let me try again. Hold on.
No,
But
it's
for some
fine.
reason, Gistry does not allow me to, like, I can't select the, okay, go to full screen, and I'm clicking on share button, but it's not working.
We have to practice our Steve Jobs approach to presenting new technology.
Just a tip. Depends on how you're integrating the wallet, but because actually it's like a redirection. It's like opening a new tab. You can actually try maybe to open a new tab, and if the system is prepared for returning correctly, you can do everything under the same browser window. And if, I mean, avoiding the pop-up when presenting, maybe just during the presentation. On normal usage, the pop-up is, the common thing to use on blockchain space. But for presentations, maybe you can just like open in a new tab, the app connection, and deal with it, and then return. Just a suggestion, but not sure if that breaks the app.
Okay, it's working now for some reason. Yeah, I am too young to use this, I think. All right. Do you want me to create a new moment and try again?
Yeah, sure.
Hiro, just I think, can you raise your volume, maybe a bit?
Okay. How about now?
Okay.
Wait, it seems on its max. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Testing. Okay. Let's see what I have. Well, I'm not sure if we should go. Hold up.
You see that Rohit is our lead on the anime archive.
By the way, we're
I was
missing
trying-
game archive here, Max.
The game archive. Yeah, the Game Changer archive, we can maybe also give you guys control too.
I was trying to learn some Japanese, but now I know who can help me.
Anytime.
Yeah, Rohit can actually know some Japanese as well.
It's hard. Takes a lot of time, which I don't have, but I love it.
I mean, if you
I
are
want
into
to
any sort of
maybe live on
Japanese
Japan, I
media,
don't know.
you can have fun. Like, don't think of it as learning. Okay, so here's the mint. I'm gonna mint it. You see my pop-up now?
Yeah,
Thanks
see
to
the
this,
pop-up.
that is going to work, people will say, okay, so Adriano's face is the bug.
The funny thing is, you see now that Rohit and I shared a wallet, right? So we're in the same account. So that's also good to know. Only do that if you really trust each other. Never share your passphrase.
Especially not the seed phrases.
Yeah.
Okay, where's the sign up prompt? Okay, the status has been updated on the front end, and we're waiting on the network here.
But yeah, I think
Go
it's
back to
what is also nice to see is that you're using Unimatrix here to see the transaction body actually coming into the website, and also the signing keys. So
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
now that we have watched how a user flow goes, maybe if the guys can present a bit more about the code, and the inners, the
Yeah,
the inner
yeah.
part.
Just like to cover the other parts of the flow that we did not see here. So, for example, for some reason, if the Univated detected a hash which did not was a success, right? Maybe they opened the game changer was launched, but they closed it, or their password was wrong, something along those lines, right? Like this one before when Max was trying, but we essentially we got the hash, but it's not valid anymore. So user can essentially try again, right? And this is a dangerous operation because like this is the place where we lose control some of it because we can't tell if the last one is success or not, like not on front end without doing some extra legwork. So they can verify themselves, it failed, maybe reach out on Discord and then try again. This will let them remain with the same script, which I'm not going to do, but this is the flow in case the transaction fails for some reason.
Yeah, because what you're trying to do is to prevent people from making the same moment twice.
Yes, so essentially having them spam with the same name, like, and even if like this is, if and they are free to do that right here, like this button essentially allows them to do that, but we are like very being very specific. Like if we do that, you'll lose real data, and your more than one post, like the new ones, will not show up on at the moments and will not be part of any governance or whatnot.
There are some. Well, we discussed this before. There are several ways you can try to, to prevent multiple mints. I mean, subsequent mints when you just want a unique one. The legacy, the first attempt on solving this was to what you are probably doing, these time-based scripts. Minting policy scripts. But of course, it's not enough because there is always like a tiny window where a subsequent mint can happen. Then you can combine on-chain or off-chain validations, or both if you want, to prevent that. That would be the solution, because you are already using Unimatrix. You are also close to do some sort of multi-sig setup where you can check that non-multiple, non-subsequent NFTs are minted. Because if you detect that, you don't provide the other required signature, which could even be built in such a way that you don't mess with the policy ID. So it's not.
Yeah.
It's
There's a lot of flexibility, that GameChanger offers there. Like we can put on the signer, and then there's a single policy ID. The mode the way that we have it set up right now is that basically each user creates their own policy ID. And what we do is provide a hash, right, that we generate on our end, which is basically the identifier of this is an authentic moment. But the interesting thing to work with is we have to balance this flexibility and the empowerment on the user side and on the other side, there's how do we make sure that we keep control of what's authentic and making sure that we follow, the standards of our platform and possibly regulatory requirements that we also need to adhere to. But an easy one to think of is, I don't want anybody else to just copy my Adriano mint and take it away and do that a bunch of times, right? So there has to be a way by which we can assert which one was first, which user created it, and at least make it clear that there's one person that minted something unique. And that's something that, it's also going to be a very interesting process to see how we can involve more on-chain characteristics. So we'll see how that goes step by step. But for now we have the hash that we generate on our end. and that's a unique mix of things that the user just can't fake. So they can't copy it from one person to another. That's not possible. And that will allow us again to say to users like, yeah, we can see that this wasn't authentic, so we won't be ascribing, like Marta mentioned, the governance power, right? If you're trying to game the system, then we can find out, and those NFTs won't be part of the governance. And that's something that we'll have to publish in a way that everybody can see and verify themselves as well.
Great, Max. And remember this wallet script requirements feature that was introduced mainly for you guys. So the things that zero knowledge proofs are going to be like the next step for that. I found a way for making some sort of whitelisting with a relatively short, I won't say hash, but structure, data structure that could behave like a hash if you want. Maybe for next steps we can discuss, because I need to implement that someday soon. So
Yeah.
I think that can help you guys also, depending, but maybe it can help you guys. Because yes, it's like a nice way to make a privacy preserving whitelisting zero knowledge secret for solving that. And yeah, it will help you probably on this
Yeah, awesome.
hash used for validations.
Yeah, very keen to see how you think about that. And yeah, I think like one of the things that we can underestimate that not everything has a technical solution. So there's going to be a lot of things that are in the realm of, let's call it traditional, like if somebody walks around and takes a picture of somebody's art and then uploads it to the platform, however technically perfect the platform is, if somebody takes a picture of a piece of art that's not theirs, there's still an issue, right? So that's always going to exist outside of the realm of the technical. And yeah, that's also something that's that we have some frameworks to work with that, right? But that's definitely why, yeah, Hiro says why lawyers have a job.
Oh, Max, but the legality of things on this kind of systems is that I think, I don't know, I'm not an expert, but I would try to move things to that place, to this place, which is, okay, here is an open protocol, everybody is welcome to participate, here are the rules. If you break the rules somehow, you will get delisted. From where? From our front end, from our implementation of the protocol. So maybe if you make a blacklist, human curated blacklist of NFT mints that you somehow discovered that are technically valid, but not legally valid, that's fair because you are running the system. It's not maybe purist, idealist, but you are making an open protocol, right? So everybody is welcome to just have a second opinion on what you are, what you are running, what you are saying. This is, I mean, I would suggest you guys to deal with these kind of things this way. And when somebody complains, okay, this is our implementation of the protocol. Go implement the protocol yourself. Create your own client.
Yeah.
Be my guest. But you will have to face all the efforts we faced. It's not as simple as just a copycat.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the powers that is going to be this balance of working together with the communities, right? So all of these different archives will have all different tastes on what kind of content they find acceptable and what they don't find acceptable. And that again comes down to the rules of that's up to the archive community to decide. It's up to them, right? And they can form a DAO and they can create their own token and they can make their own rules by which they say, this is the content that we find allowable and this is the content we don't. And in essence, we'll be creating relationships with them, right? On making sure that there's a way that we attribute authentic moments and spreading what it means when something's popular and when it adds value to the platform and who gets compensated. I think that's really where a lot of the magic is going to take place in making a sticky platform these days, right? It's less about, okay, you know, you have the basics like a UI, but it's going to be more about the incentive systems, you know, so who owns the data, who generates the value. That's really where a lot of the conversation is going to take place. And the great thing about using blockchain and GameChanger for those conversations, or as the bedrock of those conversations, is that we all start from a state of verifiable trust, right? And that's something that has been lacking to get these, I think, both creative but also very productive architecture set up.
I love it.
No, I said it first.
It's my moment. It's my moment.
We're working together so much that we say the same things. But
It's worrying.
I love it. I love this.
Yeah, well, we still have to get our perfect mint flow at least filmed once, so that everybody can see that the GameChanger and Ada Moments works well in the flow together. And I think, by the way, one thing we didn't show yet, but that is going to be possible, is that you mint many at the same time, right? So we were just minting one moment now each time that you go to your dashboard or your moment management page. But GameChanger allows us to also mint 10 in one go. So, you know, you can be posting on Ada Moments for a week and then decide, okay, I think it's time to mint now, and then go through the little dashboard on let me mint the most popular 10, for example, and do that in one go. So it can be very, very efficient.
This, Max, this what you have said is it's very, very important topic. Like we have this idea of on version 1 we have the app card. It was this idea of accumulating client side, you know, off chain intents of a lot of transactions and interactions with the apps, and then you can check out all together with one screen, one action, right? On V2, it's possible. It's just we need some efforts there, but that's a nice idea. If it's not wallet side, of course, makes a lot of sense, and it's better sometimes to make it, you know, the upside. It's amazing if you, I mean, guys, if you do that, that's great. The nice thing about GCScript is that this composability, this ability of you to just manipulate the intent of the transactions, and not just signing transactions, because when you're signing transactions, you're forced for a yes or no on an intent, right? That comes from not an intent, a package, an objective, a closed thing that comes from the wallet, from the app. But in this case, you can compose the JSON. You can start adding pieces of JSONs that define all this means on a single transaction. You save on fees. You make this atomical. Amazing. Would love to see that. And actually, it's not a minor thing, because this trend is coming to Cardano most likely with this P2P DeFi. You know, cultural. I will say cultural movement is what we have been asking and suggesting to Cardano since 2021, to put things more client side, to allow this kind of magic. If everything runs on backends, this kind of stuff will never take place on Cardano. And
Yeah.
so, who will reach first with the first composable DApp card? I love it. I love the idea. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure to work together. You know, the GCScript talk in Argentina, I think, is going to go down as a historic one.
It was a perfect
Thank you.
time there.
Thank you. It was. Forget about the project. Forget about the technical side. It was a beautiful moment in my life to get to meet you all. First, to meet my partners, to meet my friends, Martin, Quasar, a lot of other people, and then to meet you all there was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. And what's next now for GameChanger? What are you guys developing next? Is the so the zero knowledge aspect is a little sneak preview. Anything else that you're?
That's a tiny. I mean, that's a tiny thing. It's a tiny addition to the to that mini scripting API that we introduced for this validation, let's say, or yeah, uh, or for these wallet checks prior to execute the script. But no, one of the nice things that are coming probably if I finish soon is a tiny missing thing that was there with workspaces that is very powerful. I won't say much here, so then maybe we can make a nice presentation. But basically, I will say remote control, which already was working, but now the idea is to empower the apps with it. I mean, right now you can remote control another wallet with GameChanger, but the idea is to unlock that for the apps as well. And there is a tiny thing missing on GCScript to allow that. And yeah, like we're working on that. But
Okay.
among other things, like a lot of UX improvements on multisig, which actually this is part of that. It's a bundle of tiny improvements around multisig. I have a like testing the deployment. If you're interested in that branch, in that in testing early that next release, let me know. But yeah, some guys here knows about it. Martin, Rachel, and yeah, I'm Gabriel. They know about that branch, that those upcoming features.
Super cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're probably planning to do a giveaway contest so that to bootstrap some content and to get users to really start testing the flow in the next weeks for sure. So we might be a little bit busy just to fixing and helping and support, but yeah, that sounds great. I'm very keen to get more into workspaces because that. In the end, I think like that's actually going to be the way in which many of these decentralized communities will work together. Yeah, very keen.
Once again, I love it. I love that you're mentioning that because that was the idea. If you stop allowing the developer to design your wallet and you let the community, the users, to design your wallet, their own wallets, that's once again putting power back to people's hands, and all these nice things can happen. Guys, I don't know if there is something else planned for today, but would you be willing to show us the GCScript behind that mint button? What do you think?
Sure. I don't know, Hiro, do you have that ready to share?
Yeah, give me a second. I need to open the repo.
Okay, it's like maybe just launching the data connector and like auditing, like checking and reading the code, showing the code if you want, of course. But yeah, it would be nice to get a
Adriano
bit
is very
more
excited.
it's for the nerds.
Adriano, you seem very excited.
Also, it's very interesting what the guys have done here because they have GC wallet, they have Unimatrix library, and they used both in a very innovative way, which I never thought that was. I mean, not was that was not possible, but I never realized that that was a possible use case. And I love this. I mean, I love the fact that you have so many tools, or tools are kind of as flexible as possible. So then you can combine them and do crazy things.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Should we
Yeah.
give some context to what Unimatrix is actually before we proceed for the people who are maybe listening? Unimatrix is like a data store which is connected to your wallet and which the DApp can also access. And GameChanger can transmit the transaction body to this data store, and the DApp can get signals and receive that transaction body, but also separately the signatures. So it's specifically made to work with multi-signature wallets and to make communication with all the users and all the signatures and all this data easy.
perfect explanation. Thank you, Martin. I will add, it's decentralized and privacy preserving because those are private channels. That perfect explanation from Martin. Thank you.
Okay, let's dive in then. So this is the minting script for this moments page. When user clicks the mint, this is the script that runs. So this is sourced from the example. Took the example. I don't remember exactly. So the script is inspired from the examples from the Martin's course, the Game Changer docs, and shaped by the requirements as we said of it. So this defines the dependencies that the script needs. And so this is the deadline slot. Essentially, the ADA moments have like blocks, like particular sets of slots where the mint is allowed to happen. After the slot ends, all the previous minted posts are locked down. This is actually set by the backend. So we determine like 50 days. Is it 50 days max or 5 days? I don't remember.
Yeah, 50. We were thinking about doing 10 epochs, so that's 50 days. Yeah.
So it's a 50-day period essentially, which
But
updates.
the value you have right now is not exactly with an interval of 10 days, or sorry, 10 epochs, because this is more of a testing interval that we have set up.
Then we have the basic minting policy, which specifies when to lock it based on the slot number above. Then in the build script, it just builds the transaction, minting transaction, and there are actually two outputs. So the minted NFT is sent back to the user's wallet, and then they also pay to ADA, to the ADA Moments treasury.
Is it sent back? So wait, if it's this might be a silly question, but what do you mean by sending back to the user's wallet? Because it's the user that's performing the mint, right? So there's not a.
I mean, technically, I could specify any address there. So this could be anyone. Basically, the user can mint and send to, but the script mints it and sends it to the wallet who initiated, like who ran the script.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Then the witness. Then this is the metadata the user defines. I don't think I have to explain anything here. the signing part is the Unimatrix code right here in the multisig. So this is the channel ID, which I'm not gonna tell how I am generating this, but this is hashed. So yeah, good luck trying to figure out how it got to be here, but this is a hash key, and I'm using that hash value as the ID. And the subpath generated is sign transaction using the slot n, followed by the moment that was minted. So that each minted NFT, minted post, has a unique period of the slots we had like time block, and we can keep those mints separate on channels. And also this path allows me to identify the exact post so that I can associate back it from on the front end and change the UI element from minting in progress to status as soon as the transmission is received by the listener on the front end. These are the relays. This is the relay run by the ADA moments. This is the relay run by Martin, and I suppose this is the GameChanger's default relay.
And
yeah,
if one of them doesn't work, it automatically goes to the other, right? So it.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Adriano, but I think all of these connections are made simultaneously. So if anyone dies, like it's not a problem.
Yeah.
All of these are parallel connections, right?
Exactly. And not sure we could investigate a bit more, but there are probably more data replication, techniques on GandhiV, which is the underlying tech, for maybe if one node then goes online late, maybe it can replicate, back again some missing data. Not quite sure, but probably that's the case. Also, local storage works. I think it's local first. The way it works. So even if your client has some connection issues, but on local storage you have the data, then it can replicate, depending on how you implement this, right? But something like that. But yeah, all the relay peers at the same time are being used. It's like a broadcast there, so it's okay if one fails. That's the idea of decentralizing the thing.
Well, I think the local first is nice, but I don't think we have the issue there if that fails, because once the front end receives the transmission, right, then the listener is never attached again. Well, not unless they try to mint again, essentially. And this then finalizes the submission and the final output. Although the user does not return this, and I have not designed anything on the front end to actually accept this. So this is for now purely for debugging purposes.
Okay, nice.
That's it. The meeting script for the ADA moments beta 1 or 1.1.
So to clarify, Hiro, let the screen there, if you may. So to clarify, the idea of the guys was to reach at this point in time to do atomically at the same. I mean, not exactly atomically, but at the same function call, resolve two things. First, signing the mint, right? The mint transaction with the proper keys, the user keys. But then using Unimatrix, which is a multi-sig plugin, which allows you to, delegate or incorporate, aggregate foreign signatures, foreign key witnesses. But instead of using the plugin for that, the guys are using it to live share the action, the user event of signing the mint, which actually, when you sign a transaction, whether you submit it or not, it's kind of late, because if you have a copy of that signed transaction, it's you can deliver that on chain unless it gets late for the time slot where it get valid or not. But basically, I mean, it makes a lot of sense what the guys did. This creates like a real-time branching of the system where the normal flow is to execute this script step by step until the last part that Hiro mentioned that is not using, but basically